Hi everybody, good to see you again. Welcome to the 16th video of the distance learning program. I'm happy to be here and thank you for tuning in. The next part of the lesson is a little review of what the unit was about. If you'll recall, when we were back on page 44, it showed pictures of this man Stanley who was at the doctor's office. And try to remember, why was Stanley at the doctor's office? Well, he was at the doctor's office because he was having some health problems. He was overweight and he had high blood pressure. So if you were asked the question, why is Stanley at the doctor's office? You would say, because he is overweight and has high blood pressure. Here's another question. If you'll recall from the first reading that we did, you can try to answer this question. Has Stanley exercised recently? No, he hasn't. Has he eaten healthy food lately? No, he hasn't. Did he used to exercise a lot? Remember, Stanley used to exercise, but he hasn't exercised lately. So you would say, yes, he did. He did used to exercise a lot. And finally, it says, did he used to eat healthier food? And the answer is yes, he did. So that's just to review a little bit about what Unit 4 is all about. It's about attending to your health needs by going to the doctor. Okay? And what we're going to do today is read the life skills section, and that's on page 54. And we're going to learn about how to fill out a medical history form on page 54, the life skills reading. It's lesson F. So if you could turn to page 54, please. I'm going to read over the medical history form. Now, this is a form that you need to fill out when you go to see the doctor. It says chief complaint. Chief means main complaint. Chief, the main or most important. It says describe the problem and approximately when it began. Approximately means it doesn't have to be exactly, it just needs to be about the time that it began. The first section says problem. That means the reason why you go see the doctor. What's your problem? Then it says date problem began. That means when did the problem start? Number 2, have you ever had any of the following? That means, have you ever suffered from any of the following problems? And I'm going to read these to you so that you can see how they're pronounced. The first one is allergies. Many times people have allergies when there's a lot of pollen in the air. Pollen is made by plants, and it's often in the air in the spring and the fall. So a lot of times people suffer from allergies in the springtime and the fall. You have itchy eyes, your eyes itch, and you have sore throats sometimes when you have allergies. Also, nasal congestion. That's when your nose gets stopped up. Next one is arthritis. Then asthma. Asthma is difficulty breathing. Back pain. Chest pains. Diabetes. Frequent headaches. Heart attack. Heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and tuberculosis. All right, so if you have any of those issues, or if you've ever suffered from any of those problems, then you would put a check by each of those problems that you suffered from. Number 3 says, are you pregnant? Yes or no. So that applies to women who are about to have a baby. if you're going to have a baby and it's going to happen within the next 9 months, then you would check yes. Are you currently taking medications is number 4. Currently means at the present time. Are you taking medications now? And then you would circle yes or no. If yes, list all medications, including vitamins and herbal supplements. Supplements are things that you add to your diet, like vitamins or herbs. So then it says, list any major illness or sickness. Illness means sickness. Injury or surgery that you have had in the past year. The above information is correct to the best of my knowledge. That means the information is accurate. Then finally, line 7 is signature. That's where you sign. And then 8 is the date, which is today's date. Now let's see if we can answer the questions in the section A, which follows. It says, read the questions, look at the form, fill in the answer. Number 1, where do you write the reason for this doctor visit? Well, that's in this first section right here where it says problems. That's where you write the chief complaint or the main reason why you're there to see the doctor. So the answer to question number 1 is number 1. Then number 2 says, where do you write the names of the medicines you take? Well, if you look down here at section 5 here, it says, if yes, list all medications. So in this section, number 5, that's where you would list all the medications or the different kinds of medicines that you take. So the answer to number 2 is number 5. Number 3 says, where do you write that you had back surgery last year? So that's where you list the surgery. So let's see if we can find out where do we write surgeries. Well, that's in section 6. It says list any major illness, injury, or surgery. Those are operations that you might have had, okay? So that would go in section 6. So the answer to number 3 is number 6. Finally, question number 4 says, where do you write when the problem began? Well, the date the problem began is up here in the first section, so section 1. So the answer to question number 4 would be number 1. Now we're going to turn to page 55. Page 55. This is the grammar connection lesson, and it says reported commands. I'm going to read what's in the orange box. It says, use the base form of the verb to give a command or to tell someone to do something. That's a command when you tell someone to do something. Use don't plus the base form of the verb to give a negative command, which means to tell someone not to do something. To report a command, use tell plus the indirect object plus an infinitive. To plus the base form of the verb. Now, here are some examples of commands. One is open wide. When you go to the dentist, sometimes the dentist says open wide. That means open your mouth very wide so the dentist can see all of your teeth. Another command is don't skip breakfast. So for the open wide command, the subject is the person who gives the command. That's the dentist. This is in the reported command section. So if you wanted to tell someone that the doctor told you to open wide, you would say the dentist told me to open wide. Tell is the verb, and if it's in the past tense, you would say told. So the dentist told, and me is the direct object of the verb to tell. I'm sorry, the indirect object. And then the infinitive is to open wide, to open. So the infinitive is to open, and then wide is the adverb. How do I open? Okay? Now, the next part says don't skip breakfast. That's the command, and if you want to report the command to someone else, like to tell someone else what the doctor said, then you would say the doctor, which is the subject, told him. So if you're saying it about another person, you would say the doctor told him not to skip breakfast, which means don't skip breakfast. Now, the next part, it says, who gave the command? Let me read what's in the gray box there, and you can follow along. It says the dentist, the doctor, the nurse, the eye doctor, the nurse, and the receptionist. So now we have to decide who is the person who said it, and how would you report the command? Number 1 says step on the scale. Well, the person who tells you to step on the scale is the nurse. So who said it would be the nurse. And the reported command would be the nurse told me to step on the scale. Next, it says don't move during the x-ray. And the dentist is the subject because the dentist is the person who said it. And it says the dentist told me not to move during the x-ray. Next, it says use an electric toothbrush. Well, the dentist would probably be the person who said it, so you could put the dentist as the subject. And then you would say the dentist told me to use an electric toothbrush. Get more exercise. Well, doctors usually tell you to get more exercise, so who said it would be the doctor? And you could say, if you're talking about another person, you could say the doctor told him to get more exercise. Cover your left eye. Well, that would be the eye doctor who said that. And if it was me who he told that to, you could say the doctor told me to cover my left eye. So these are examples that I've completed all of the first 5, and now you can complete the rest 6 through 12. Now I'm going to start the review on page 56, the review for units 3 and 4. So if you'll follow along with me in the back of the book, I'm going to read the conversation between Jenny and Sarah, and you need to turn to the back of the book for a review of units 3 and 4. I'm going to read the audio script from the conversation. So it says, hello? Hi, Sarah. This is Jenny. Remember me? Hey, Jenny. How have you been lately? We haven't talked in ages. That means for a long time. Sorry about that, Sarah. So remember that. She says, sorry about that, Sarah. Who's speaking? That's Jenny. Jenny says, I used to have time to call friends after work. I just don't have enough time now. So, the first question says, who used to have time to call friends? Well, that was Jenny. So the answer would be Jenny. You'd put a check under Jenny. Now we want to look to see who used to work 50 hours a week. Who used to work 50 hours a week? It says, that's too bad. I have lots of time now that I work part-time. I used to work 50 hours a week. Now I only work 20. Well, the person speaking now is Sarah. So the answer to that question would be Sarah. You put a check in the column that says Sarah at the top. Now we need to find out who used to exercise more. So I'm going to continue talking about what Sarah says. It says, but I've gotten lazy. I used to exercise a lot more. Well, that's Sarah. She's still speaking, so we would put a check under Sarah. Then it says, used to cook healthy food. Then I'm going to continue with what Jenny says. It says, you're lucky you have free time, Sarah. Because of my schedule, I eat fast food and don't exercise regularly. I used to cook healthy food for myself. Not anymore. So, that answers that question. Jenny is the person who used to cook healthy food. So you would put a check under Jenny. Then Sarah says, it sounds like we both need to start taking care of ourselves the way we used to. Jenny says, I have an idea, Sarah. Let's meet a few evenings a week and take a walk. I sit all day. I used to take the stairs at work, but I don't even do that anymore. So this is Jenny speaking, and she's not taking care of herself anymore. So you would put a check by Jenny. And finally, it says, I really like your idea. We can motivate each other, and we can catch up on each other's lives too. And finally, it says, 6 used to take the stairs at work. Well, that's what Jenny just said when she said that she used to exercise, but now she takes the stairs. I'm sorry, my bad. It says she used to take a walk. Right, so she used to exercise. It says, I sit all day. I used to take the stairs. So she used to take the stairs, but now she doesn't do that anymore. So the answer for number 6, used to take the stairs, is Jenny. All right. So since we're out of time for this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and do the grammar part in the next video. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.